Hey everybody, welcome to this video on the essence of making money. I know we all like to learn how to make some money because that's what we're in this course to do and investing in real estate to do, of course. But I want to flip this around a little bit, and I'm going to start with a quote by Earl Nightingale that talks about this subject, which is one of the core, I've incorporated into being one of the core business philosophies that I run my businesses by. And the quote is this: "Money can't be sought directly. Money, like happiness, is an effect and the result of a cause. The cause is service." So I want to just repeat and paraphrase this because I think this is such an important concept, and not just in a pie-in-the-sky sort of way, in a very, very practical way when you're building your business and when you're educating yourself to do well in real estate investing or any business, is to remember that business is in a cause and effect relationship. And there's nothing wrong with us coming in wanting to earn money, and we have some other videos on our motivations for getting into real estate and for security and control and having fun and fulfillment. But in the end, the money is the part we get, and it's a result. It's the effect. And so if we're in our day-to-day business and in our goal setting, we can't control the effects. The only thing we can control and the thing we can take action on is the cause of this relationship. And the cause, of course, as Earl Nightingale says, is service. Another way of saying this, I love a Zig Ziglar quote, and I'm probably paraphrasing this, but he says, if you help enough other people get what they want, you can get anything you want in life. And so that's this philosophy. And specifically in our real estate business, when I'm making my goals and I'm building my business plan, I like to translate this to the actual people we'll be providing a service for. And I see it in three general groups. One is that we are all constantly going out and trying to buy houses from sellers, owners of properties. Somebody needs to sell a house, and we provide a service to them of buying their house or their property. Number two, somebody is a money person. I'll just use that term. And this, of course, could be a bank, if you're going the institutional route, or as you know me, if you're listening to a lot of my videos, you know that I prefer to use private individuals. I see it as a better service. I see that we provide a really good service and they provide a really good service to us, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship. So private individuals, either the seller of a property or just a person who has an IRA or a person who has money in the bank. And there are other videos, of course, where I talk about that and how that relationship works and how that service works. But for purposes of this video, I just want you to know one of the people we are serving and the core of our business is our money person. And then number three, the third group, and I'll call them our end users. They are the person who is actually living in this house that we are buying from somebody and that we're financing from somebody, and then we are providing this house to them. And this can come in the form of a renter, or it could be somebody buying the house. Or as you know, if you know my business model, you know that I really love the business of turning a renter into a homeowner, so actually helping them buy the house when they weren't able to before, either because they don't have a big enough down payment, they need some time to save that up, or they don't have enough credit, or they just don't have a job or a credit profile that's good enough to fit into the institutional financing world, and I'll finance it to them. So I love that business. I think it's a really good service of turning renters into homeowners. That's another story. So if our whole business is about serving our customers, then I try to focus on every day. If I get into a kind of a cluttered mind and I'm focused, man, I'm not making enough money, or I need to get the money, or anytime you start thinking about that and getting nervous or anxious about the fact that you're not making enough money, remember, you're focusing on the effect. The cause is, how can I help the seller? How can I help the money person? How can I help the end user? And I'll actually get specific goals, and let me show you how I might take that focus and think about it on a yearly basis and on a day-to-day basis. I might say, all right, I want to make $50,000 this year. That's the effect, right? But in order to do that, I'm going to make 50 offers to buy houses from sellers. So 50 offers to buy. And how good of a service you're providing, how good you are at negotiating, or good you are explaining that what your service is. That's called marketing and sales. And how many tools you have to provide a seller. Can you pay cash? Can you do lease options, seller financing? Will determine how many people will actually say yes to your 50 offers. It could be, in my business, if I'm making 50 offers, I'm hoping to buy, 5 houses, 5 deals. When you're first starting, it might be 1, or you might have to do 100 offers. But in any case, what you're doing is you're taking this goal that's about me, the effect, and you're turning it into a calls goal. What can I actually control? I can control going out, finding people who want to sell their house, looking at the house, determining an offer, and making an offer to buy their house. That's the service. So what this helps me do is just focus my mind on reminding myself, hey, what you're in the business of doing is offering people to buy their house and then delivering and buying their house. So I have 50 offers to buy. That's my goal, and you can measure that on a day-by-day and a week-by-week basis. Have I met my goal? And if you do that, if you meet your goal of making that many offers, there's a good chance you're going to make your end goal. And if you don't, then you adjust it and say, maybe I need to make more offers to do that, or fewer. In addition to that, I'm also going to remember the other customers I have. I want, in this example, let's say I have 2 private lenders who have enough money, and let's say I'm going to buy, fix up, and sell business. So I have 2 private lenders, and those private lenders are going to provide the money to buy these houses. And my goal is to serve them and let them have a safe place to put their money, and they earn 10% interest during this year when they're loaning me the money. Interest. Let me make sure I can spell here. So 10% interest. If I'm serving them and getting them a 10% return safely, then man, they're going to be happy, and I'm going to be able to make money, which is my goal. And then number 3, I've got to go out, and if I bought 5 deals, I've got to remember that I have to go out and buy houses, finance them so that I can sell these houses to somebody else. So I've got to buy it at a low enough price that I can sell it to this person at a reasonable price. I've got to buy it at a low enough price that I can afford to pay interest to this person and afford to give them a safe place to put their money. See how this all relates to one another? And then I've got to buy a nice enough house. I can't buy a dumpy house, and I can't fix it up in a way that's not good enough so that these end buyers will want to buy it. I'm serving them as well. So I've got to provide a good product. I've got to provide a good price. And maybe if I'm providing financing for the buyers, I've got to provide good terms to them as well. So as you focus on all this gets a very practical part of your goal setting and your day-to-day affairs of your business. But it all relates back again to this original quote, which is money can't be sought directly. If that's your goal, great. But remember, it's a cause and effect. The effect is service, and that's what you do on a day-to-day basis. And that's, if you really think about it, that's why you're here learning to provide a better service. When you first start the business, you don't know what the service is. You don't understand the ins and outs, and the paperwork, and the sales strategy, and who are your customers. You don't know all that, so you're educating yourself so that you can provide a better service. And I even, when I'm journaling and practicing and writing down some things, I even have a little symbol that just reminds me of this. I have a little arrow that goes in 2 different directions. See if I can draw that here. And then in the middle is the $ sign. And this just, if I'm doodling, I'm on the phone sometimes, this little thing reminds me that, hey, this is a cycle here. I want to make money. Remember that I'm providing a service. That's what I do. And then the money comes in return. Cause and effect, cause and effect. So I hope this little philosophy helps you a little bit, keeps you thinking. And then remember, as we get into all the practical parts of the business, that's what we're doing. We're providing a service. So do your best to learn as much as you can, practice as much as you can, so that you can provide that service. And to the level that you do it, as well as you provide the service, the money will come. It's a cause and effect relationship. I'll see you in the next video.